Welcome to the Sunday School Bonanza.
It is joyous to
Sunday
be
School
here.
Preparation.
Yes,
I will not move from this place until the Lord has shown me what to do. Name that movie.
The Mountain of the Lord, Brigham Young.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
That man was as close to a Mormon Sean Connery as we'll ever have.
That movie is
I will not
awesome.
move from this place until the Lord has shown me what to do.
I loved that movie.
I'll take S words for 1,000. Okay, so like we talked about before, this is our stab at helping you prepare for your gospel doctrine class. In under 10 minutes, we will spit at you everything that's in the lesson so that you're prepared, you have a little bit of exposure to it. Hopefully you're thinking about it as you go into your Sunday school. Jeff and I both commented on our podcast This Week in Mormons that having done the prep last week, we were like surprisingly prepared going in. I felt like I was a scholar all of a sudden. I'm like, wait, I've talked about this before. I know this.
I know. If it had not been 85 degrees in the classroom, I would have totally been with it. It would have been great.
You are a man of many excuses.
I am. I'm weak. It's true. I haven't had a
Okay,
very
so
hard
we
life.
hope.
So anyway, let's go on.
So we hope everybody is on lesson 21 with us in the manual. What is the sign of thy coming?
Yeah,
So hang with us. We've got about, I don't know,
a few minutes.
9 minutes to spit this.
Well,
at you.
whatever. And if it's under 10, it doesn't matter. So, yeah, what is the sign of thy coming? This talks a lot about signs of the second coming, of course. And it uses a lot of Matthew 24, and then also the Joseph Smith translation of Matthew, because that was one of the main sections that was translated. And so, to start off with, Al, let me ask you this. Why is the Joseph Smith translation important in this case?
Simple, because without the Joseph Smith translation, we have no lesson. So this is the Joseph Smith translation is, what was it? It was a translation of chapter 24. Is that right?
Yeah,
Or
in
a
this case,
verse
the
in
main
chapter
thing is that, of
24.
course, like anything else in the Bible, stuff got reorganized, altered over time, and especially in the case of the Joseph Smith translation of Matthew 24, it clarifies a lot about a very important topic, which is
Yeah, so this is specifically, let's see, Matthew 23:39 and chapter 24 got expanded into this. So yeah, good stuff. We have two main themes for the lesson that the manual gives us. Jesus foretells the impending destruction of Jerusalem, and Jesus describes the signs that will precede his second coming. So the first one, where he foretells the impending destruction, that's verse 1 through about 20.
And that's
well,
of
actually
Joseph Smith.
5 to 20. Yeah, all of our references are going to be out of Joseph Smith Matthew.
okay.
But so the first good, I don't know, third of this book is an answer to Jesus talking about, or answering the first question the disciples ask him up on the Mount of Olives. They come to him and ask in verse 4. They ask, Tell us when shall these things be, which thou hast said concerning the destruction of the temple and the Jews? And then they ask the second question, and what is the sign of that coming and the end of the world? So the first question he answers in the next 15 verses. Pretty much, I mean, I feel like it's all stuff we know, right? Like when the impending destruction. So temples are going to be torn up. Bad things are coming. It's pretty much, yeah, we know what's going to happen, right? The couple of questions that were interesting to us, though, is they ask a question: what did Jesus tell his followers to do to avoid destruction? And that was to leave, right? They were to leave when they saw this stuff coming, they were to leave the world, kind of go and gather, as it talks about in 11-ish. So the standee in holy places, this is where that comes into play. Go to the temples, gather in your stakes, and prepare yourself. But then they asked the follow-up question: why was it important that they not return to their homes once they had fled? I don't know. I don't know. What do you think, Jeff?
As far as why it's important they didn't return?
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with, well, I guess I agree with what the manual says, but like I don't see it as that relevant. I guess the scriptures it gives is the no man having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom type of thing.
And I think it's the simple symbolism that if they were to go back, it's once we have, look at Lot's wife, for example. You can't look back. You can't reflect on the past. You can't have any sort of a doubt that what you're doing is the right thing. So Jesus taught a lot about this, of the importance of believing the gospel, applying it into one's life, and pressing forward and not looking towards the past for any sort of inspiration or guidance, because the past is irrelevant by that point, especially in this sort of instance when Jesus has come to fulfill the Mosaic law. The past is far more irrelevant than it would have been otherwise.
This is actually an interesting one to have right after the May 21st, the rapture that was not.
Yeah.
Because as we talk about this, I mean, this is all stuff that we believe, but the timing, like one of the signs of the second coming, is that no man knows, right? Nobody has any idea when it will be. But I don't know, when we were missionaries, we had a second coming discussion that we would give to inactive members of the church as like a scare tactic. I kind of feel bad about it now, but at the time, we thought we were very, very witty, borderline clever, we'd say. But yeah, so that's the second part. We can spend the lion's share of this on that.
So then we go here. Jesus describes a lot of the signs that will precede the second coming, and of course, one of the main ones described in Joseph Smith, Matthew 1:22. I'll read it here, but look this up. Of course, it's for in those days there shall also arise false Christs and false prophets, etc. It's interesting that I think.
Have you ever seen a false Christ?
And what's
like somebody that claimed they were Jesus? I have.
No, actually, I never have. Not in person or anything. No.
He had a press conference. It was awesome.
And you liked it?
He answered every question with another question. Anyway, this is besides the point. Keep going.
Yes, it is. Other things that will happen, of course, wars and rumors of wars, as it says in verse 28. But the Lord taught that we should not be troubled by wars and rumors of wars. And so then they do ask, how can we find peace then, in light of those things?
They give a couple of parables. I feel like most of this is all stuff that we would have heard before. Obviously, the emphasis being on how to stay safe, standing in holy places. There's a couple good excerpts in here if you'd like to read through on those of quotes the prophets have talked about. But there's a couple of parables or passages that it gives that we can draw insights from.
Yeah, sure.
So the 5, I think. The first one, the parable of the fig tree. Obviously, the second coming nuances there being that if you've done all the outward things but you haven't actually produced fruit, you're in trouble. I would think that's one easy one that I can draw from it.
Yeah. And then there's another one, of course, that talks about the comparison of the second coming to the days of Noah, which you particularly find in verses 41 through 43.
Even as in the days of Noah. The prophecy of 2 people working in the field and 2 people grinding at the mill. One shall be taken and the other shall stay. Pretty self-explanatory stuff.
And then a couple of other ones, the parable of the good man and the thief, and the parable of the Lord and his servants.
The good man and the thief, in case you're wondering, is the one where it says, a good man, if he knew what hour the thief was coming, he would stay awake and watch for him. That's the no man knoweth one.
Yep.
And what's the parable of the Lord and his servants?
I don't honestly know off the top of my head. But it says, it's in verses 49 through 54. Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom his Lord hath made ruler over his household, to give them meat in due season? Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. And verily I say, I shall make him ruler over his goods. I think it falls along the same lines of being vigilant and watch.
Be obedient. So, yeah, pretty straightforward stuff. There's obviously a lot that you can go into with signs of the second coming.
Definitely.
I suggest maybe reading some Joel, reading some Book of Daniel, all that great stuff. The 4 kind of main things that are main appearances of the Savior during the second coming. All interesting reading around these topics. So yeah, lots of stuff there.
And
Go read your lesson.
Isaiah. I also recommend Isaiah chapter 2 and some of Doctrine and Covenants section 45 in preparation.
There you go. We'll put some links to all that stuff. Have a great Sunday school lesson. Enjoy.
Okay. Thanks, Al.
Yep.
Thanks, everybody, and enjoy Sunday school. This has been Sunday School Bonanza, brought to you by This Week in Mormons. See you later.